Testing. I'm just confirming that I am in fact live and that my voice is going through, because if my voice isn't going through, this is going to be very awkward. Alright. Yep, shows I'm live. Hold on. Testing. Here we go. Alright. Testing. Great. Awesome. Alright, so my voice is going through. Welcome. My name is Dan. Welcome to Dynamite channel. I don't know how many people are going to be watching this on stream, but I'm not going to be checking chat or anything like that, because who the fudge cares? I am going to be playing a little bit of Arkham Horror, the card game version, not the tabletop version. If you're unfamiliar with this, it is a card game version of a board game or a whatever. I'm not sure which came first. But anyway, it's made by, it's referred to as a living card game, which basically means that you can buy sets, and all the cards necessary to play the game are in each individual set. And it's a cooperative card game as opposed to a competitive. So I played a lot of Magic the Gathering. I used to play a lot of Pokemon when I was younger. Those are collectible card games. In those games, you crack open packs of cards, and you use the cards you get from packs to build a deck. And then you can play that deck in any number of different formats, where any number of different sets of cards or types of cards are allowed in any specific number, and each format has its own rules. In a living card game, everything that you need to play the game comes in the pack you buy. So if you buy this expansion, you get every single card from that expansion. You just add it to your collection. I am playing today with just the base set. I don't have any expansions for this game whatsoever. I bought this yesterday because I have played Eldritch Horror, which is the board game version. And this game is better, in my opinion, because of one thing. It takes significantly less time to set up. There is so much crap involved with the Eldritch Horror game. But yeah, so we're playing Arkham Horror. Basically, the premise behind this game, if you're unfamiliar with the term Lovecraftian horror, Lovecraftian horror is like Call of Cthulhu, any of that number of, I think it was Pulp Fiction or light novel fiction horror stories that were published around the 1920s, 1930s in America. Lovecraft was, and they specifically basically dealt with the themes of insanity, and insanity was a big thing in Lovecraftian horror. It's where we get the very famous, of course, I mentioned Call of Cthulhu. So Cthulhu, the Ancient Ones, Yob. I'm trying to think of some names other than Cthulhu, but the problem is that they're just so out there and crazy. Anyway, basically, so the premise behind this game is we are investigators in Arkham, Massachusetts, in like the mid-1920s, and some freaky stuff has started to go down. Specifically, I am doing the Gathering, is the scenario we're running. I'm going to be running it on easy mode, just for the sake of simplicity. I have played exactly one game of this before, exactly about maybe 5 minutes prior to when I set my stuff up and started filming, just so I could get the playthrough. Play progresses in rounds, where each round we're going to be investigating our current location for clues. That's what these little symbols represent. We're going to be spending clue tokens to progress our act. So each round or each set, the whole game takes place in campaigns. You can play this game entirely by yourself. You can play it with up to, I think it's up to 4 people with the base set, if you get 2 versions of the base set and put them together. If you just have one like I have, you can play with maximum 2 people. But I'm playing it by myself because, it's coronavirus and I'm stuck in my house. Just kidding, I actually go back to work tonight, but figured I'd play a little bit before I had to go back to work this week. Where was I? Oh yeah, so you spend clue tokens to advance the act. While we are advancing the act, there are turns in the round where we're going to be revealing cards out of what's called our Mythos deck. I think that's the term for it. Whatever. The Mythos phase, where you reveal cards off of the Encounter deck, this is all the bad stuff. This is all the freaky stuff that's going on, all the like Eldritch Horrors that will be coming out of the darkness. And however, simultaneously, I have a deck of my own cards These are my resources that I am pulling from to try and fight against the forces of darkness. And the ultimate objective is to complete the axe without dying or going insane. I have a health value and I have a sanity value, or a mental health value, whatever. If either of these hit 0, I'm dead. At least 2 times during my pre-setup phase on easy mode, I died. Either because and both times it was because I lost all my sanity. So hopefully that won't happen this time. To start things off, I am going to go ahead and shuffle my assets, or my personal player deck, to prove to you that I am in fact not cheating. If I do die while playing this, that's totally fine. If I don't die, then I'll probably tomorrow maybe stream the next session of the campaign. Because it's a campaign, it is possible that once you finish your first round, you can choose to tally up your experience, any experience points you gain, and then you can spend those to to buy more cards for your player deck. And then you can upgrade and then take those into further rounds of the game. To start off with, because I don't have anyone playing against me, I'm just going to reveal it. Alright, so I got a machete, a knife, so I've got 2 weapons. A dodge tactic was going to be good during battle. This guy kind of looks like one of the Winchester brothers now I look at it. Guts, which is a skill action I can play anytime I have to do, I think, a mental trait, or whatever that little symbol means. And then I have Unexpected Courage, which is something I can play 1 time on any ability. This one will... I'm actually not entirely certain what this one gains me. It's an innate skill, max 1 committed per skill test. So I'm assuming this just gives you a +1 to that skill if you play it on any skill. So basically, for 1 skill, you can just get a +1 to any skill check you do. You have to determine the skill check and then play it on top. I can take a mulligan if I would like. I've got a lot of stuff here that helps me with combat. This one, discard knife, fight. You get +2 for this. What does this do? You get +2 for this attack. The attacked enemy is the only enemy engaged with you. Attack does +1/+1 damage. Cool. I'm dropping cards. Alright. I think, for the sake of this, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to mulligan the knife, and I'm going to mulligan the guts. I think these other 2 are actually quite nice, especially since I know I can play that machete pretty early on. And by the way, all my resource, so in this game you have little resource tokens. You've also got clue tokens / omen tokens that are going to be played onto the agenda deck of the enemy. We'll just call it the enemy for the purposes of the game. And then also, anytime I take damage or sanity damage, I have little tokens to represent damage that I've taken to my health and my sanity. So I'm going to draw, so I'm going to take my mulligan. I'm going to go ahead and cut my own deck. I play too much Magic the Gathering. Then I'm going to draw 2 more cards, and I have to keep these, I think is the ruling on it. Alright, cool. Ooh, those are upside down. Alright, so what did I draw? Ooh, okay, so I got a Treachery card. Okay, so this is a weakness card. So anytime you draw a weakness card, you have to put it back and shuffle it and gain another one. Because you don't start the game with a weakness card. It's just, there's no point. Alright. So I'm going to shuffle up and draw 1 more card to replace my weakness card. So I'm going to set. Is that a weakness card? Nope. Okay, so I got the guts back. Alright, fine. Whatever. So I got guts back, and I have hyper awareness. Ooh, okay. I like hyper awareness. That was very useful in the first one. Alright. And these have relatively low costs on them, so that's actually quite nice. Cool, cool, cool. Alright. So, we're ready to start the game. I start with five of these tokens of my little resource tokens that I can spend on anything I want. Let's go ahead and set the scenario for what's going on. I have a campaign guide that I use to reference this. Let me go ahead and just read this out. This is just general information for the whole game. A little bit of background, if you will. The Ghoul's Hunger. Friday, September 18th, 1925, Arkham, Massachusetts. It is the end of a long and abnormally hot summer. The first hints of autumn beckon, but a heavy heat persists, relentless. A silent, unspoken anger grips the town. Tempers are short, and in the last week alone there have been numerous reports of townspeople coming to heated, violent blows with one another over simple misunderstandings. And now, a call from James Hankerson. He claims to have found a dismembered body in his barn. Blaming the weather would be too easy. There is something wrong with this town, and not a whole lot this old soothsayer can do to stop the slide. My auguries indicate a small group of investigators, that's me, will soon take note of these strange happenings and are sent forth to make things right. I'll be watching their progress, but I won't be holding my breath. Alright, cool. So if we go to our campaign guide, I can go ahead and read the introduction for Part 1, The Gathering. Let's see. You and your partner have been investigating strange events taking place in your home of Arkham, Massachusetts. Over the past several weeks, several townspeople have mysteriously gone missing. Recently, there were corpses turned up in the woods, savaged and half-eaten. The police and newspapers have stated that wild animals are responsible, but you believe there is something else going on. You have gathered together at your lead investigator's home, which is just my home, so I'm at my house, to discuss these bizarre events. And it has set up instructions for assembling the decks and assembling the board and whatnot. And then it's got some stuff that I will get back to after we have hit our resolution, whatever it may be. Alright, so to start things off, in the very first, so there's 4 phases. There's the Mythos phase, the Investigation phase, the Enemy phase, and the Upkeep phase. The very first round of the game, you skip the Mythos phase completely, and you go straight to the Investigation phase. During the Investigation phase, I have 3 total actions I can take on turn. They're detailed on the back of the card. I can draw a card from my deck, or I can gain one of these little resource points as an action. I can play an event or an asset card from my hand. I can activate any of the cards that have that have a little double arrow symbol. I can activate those. I can move to any other, if there's more corresponding locations to move to, I can move to those. I can investigate my location, which means I make an investigation roll versus the shroud, which is this little black number right here, versus the shroud value on my current location, and if I succeed, I gain a clue token from that location. I can fight or engage an enemy that's currently at my location. I can attempt to evade an enemy that is engaged with me, and then I also have a couple little free abilities. If I have a card that has this little lightning bolt or this little like turn symbol, I can activate those abilities on cards that do not cost an action. And then it has some little rules like if you're engaged with an enemy and you try and do something other than fight, evade, parlay, or resign, they get an attack of opportunity. So, start of the round, I have no items. Oh, still good? Try and make sure my... Yeah, it looks good. Okay. Start of the round, I am going to go ahead and play for my first action. There's nowhere to move to, so let's just go ahead and set up for success for later rounds. I'm going to go ahead and spend 2 resources. As an action, I'm going to play this out of my hand. I'm going to play Hyper Awareness. So this just sticks to what's called my in-play area. And then, so basically what this does is I can, as one of those little like lightning bolt abilities, I can spend a resource to get +1 to my investigation for this skill test. And I can also spend 1 resource to get +1 for +1 speed on any of my evasion tests. I'm also going to go ahead and spend my remaining 3 resources to play a machete as my second action. And this one has, I have to actually take an action to activate this, but whenever I fight, I get +1 to my power, or my little fist symbol for this attack. If the attacked enemy is the only enemy engaged with you, this does an additional, if I'm attacking someone in a one-on-one combat, I get a +1 to my damage dealt during that combat. Currently, so these are just, I'm just playing these to get ready for later things that are going to happen in the game. So that's my 2 actions. My third action is I'm going to attempt an investigation to get one of these little clue tokens. So I currently have an investigation value of 3, and the study has a shroud of 2. So I'm already in a pretty good position because what happens is if I meet or exceed the shroud value, I get a clue token. However, every time I make a check in this game, I have to grab a little symbol or a little token out of this chaos box. Sometimes it's a bag, it doesn't really matter. And we'll just reveal it. Okay, cool. So this is a 0. So this is a modifier to my values that I'm going into the investigation or the check with. So this is a 0, which means nothing happens. So because it's a 0, I succeed because I had a 3 and the value was 2. So because I succeeded, I'm going to put a clue token on my character. And because I've spent all 3 of my actions per turn, I flip him over to his little monochrome side. And I have expended all my actions per turn. So now I have expended all my actions. I'm going to go to the enemy phase. There are no enemies in play. So the enemy phase has 2 things. It says if you have an enemy with the Hunter ability, that enemy goes towards the nearest available person and engages with them. And then I have, the second one says each engaged enemy will make an attack. There again are no enemies, so there's nothing to attack. Alright, cool. So I go to the final phase of the round, the upkeep phase. On the upkeep phase, I reset all actions for all players, so I flip them back over. If I had an enemy or a card that was exhausted, I reset that exhausted card. Each investigator draws 1 card, adds it to their hand, and gains 1 resource. So I'm back up to 1 resource. And then I check my hand size. You can have a max total of 8 cards in your hand. However, I have not. I already spent 2 cards, and I only started with 5, so I'm good to go. I drew the Emergency Cache, which is an event card that says you just gain 3 resources. So I can basically just play this as an action. I can play this out of my hand and gain 3 resources, which is very nice. Very nice. All right, cool. So that's round 1 has completed. Now we move back up to the beginning of round 2. Now we have to actually do the Mythos phase. So in the Mythos phase, first thing we do is we take, these little clue tokens are double-sided. I'm going to take this is an Omen token, we're going to play it onto the currently active agenda card. I should go ahead and read off the act card while I'm at it in the agenda card just for flavor. Our current act is Act 1A. As you leap to, let's see. Actually, I should probably read the gathering. Or, no, it's on the end of the study. Here we go. You've been investigating the strange events occurring in Arkham for several days. Your desk is covered in newspaper articles, police reports, and witness accounts. And we flip this over, and it says, the door to your study has suddenly vanished. As you leap to investigate, the door to your study vanishes before your eyes, leaving behind only a solid wall. You're trapped inside your study until you can find another way out. And it says if I put 2 clue tokens onto this, we advance it to the next. I.e., there's only 2 clue tokens on the study room to begin with, so basically get both and then put them on. So we put that in. Then we have to reveal a card off the top of the Mythos stick. Oh, I should, before I do that, let's go ahead and read the what's going on part. What's going on? It's late at night. You're holed up in your study researching the bloody disappearances that have been taking place in your region. A few hours into your research, you hear the sound of strange chanting coming from the parlor down the hall. At the same time, you hear dirt churning as if something were digging beneath the floor. Let me go ahead and put that back on. So, weird stuff's going on. Alright, we'll reveal the Mythos card for this turn. It's a swarm of rats. Because I revealed it, it's going to automatically engage with me. So now we have an enemy on the board. So if we get to the enemy phase and this enemy is still around, I'm going to be taking some damage, getting some attacks. Alright, so now that we've completed the Mythos phase, I will go ahead and start my investigation phase. Alright, so I'm back up to 3. Now I'm engaged currently with an enemy. What this means, is going to the bottom of the card, if I take any action other than fighting, evading, parlaying, or resigning, fun fact, I don't have anything on the board that gives me those bottom 2, so I can only fight or evade. If I take any other actions, this swarm of rats is going to get an attack of opportunity against me. I don't like that. I kind of think I want to fight this, and let me tell you why. The character I'm playing, Roland Banks, has a special ability that can be activated at any time on my turn. After you defeat an enemy, discover 1 clue at your location. So this is actually pretty good for me, because what this means is, if I kill this rat, I just get that clue. So the way we're going to do this is, I think I'm going to go ahead, we're just going to fight this rat. The fun thing is I actually get a, I can spend, or I can go ahead and activate this. You get +1 for this attack. If the attack enemy is the only enemy engaged with you, this attack deals 1 damage. I think I have to... So here's the deal. I could grab that machete to give me a high advantage, but that's activating an ability which would give the rat an attack of opportunity, and I don't want to give the rat an attack of opportunity. Whenever an enemy gets an attack of opportunity, they basically just deal their damage value, which in this case is just 1 damage. They just deal damage to me. I have 9 health. I could take it, but this rat's only got 1 health, so this is their attack value. This is their health, and this is their evasion value, how much it takes to get away from them. He only has 1 health, and I've got 4 attack versus his 1 health. So it's 4 versus 1. So I'm already up by 3. So I think I'd rather just fight the swarm of rats. It is possible for me to fail, though. There are some tokens in here that could cause me to fail, but because we're playing on easy mode, it's very unlikely I'll draw them. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to, as my action, go into combat. And so I get a -1 to my attack for this turn. That still puts me at a 3 attack power versus their 1 attack power. So I deal 1 damage to the rat. I'm not even going to worry about getting the token out. The rat dies. Because a rat died, I'm going to go ahead and activate my free ability to just take a clue token. Great. And that's it. That was my first action for turn. I still get 2 more actions, so I think I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to get 2 more resources. Now, I think at any time without taking an action, you can go ahead and spend 2 abilities. Let me just refer to the rulebook. Clue. Clues. 6. Clues. Clues represent progress an investigation can make towards solving a mystery, unraveling. The first time an investigator enters a location, the location is revealed. You put clue tokens. Okay, if there are no objective requirements for advancing the current act during the investigator's turn, the investigators may, as a group, spend a requisite number of clues, usually conveyed as a per investigator value from their investigator card, to advance the act. This is normally done as a free action. Any or all investigators may contribute any number of clues towards the total number. The card ability refers to at a location as referencing the undiscovered clues at that location. I say it's a free ability because it has the little lightning bolt symbol, which basically means you can do it at any time. Or without spending an action is what it literally means. So, I will go ahead and I'm going to spend both these clue tokens, and we're going to advance our act a little bit. So I'm going to flip this over and read it off. You notice that the edges of your newly purchased rug are tattered and mid-stained. Finding this odd, you shift the furniture aside and pull back the rug. To your surprise, see the door leading out of your study. You slowly turn the knob, and the door swings open, revealing your hallway below. You jump through the doorway, landing on your feet on soft dirt. The door to the study slams shut behind you, or shut above you, because I guess you jump straight down. The smell of burning wood fills the narrow hall, intermingling with the scent of rot and decay. And it has some instructions. We go ahead and put into play the set-aside hallway, cellar, attic, and parlors, and then we get rid of the study. So, attic, cellar. Hold on, I gotta make sure these are on the right sides as well. Oopsie. So, attic, cellar, parlor, hallway. And I'll remember I go ahead and put myself here, however I've been expended for turn. Discard each enemy that's in the study. There are no enemies because I killed them. Place each investigator in the hallway and remove the study from the game. Now I'm just going to push this off to the side. So now, we have this to complete. I'll go ahead and read out the second act. A glowing barrier blocks your path to the parlor. As you move toward it, intense heat forces you back away. Picking up a handful of dirt, you toss it at the barrier and watch in horror as the dirt incinerates. Perhaps there's something in the cellar or attic that can help you. Our objective is that when the round ends, investigators in the hallway may, as a group, spend the requisite number of clues to advance. So we have a couple things. Number one, we have to get a number of clues. And if you look at it, when I reveal, the hallway, because we came in here, this gets no clue tokens, and it has a shroud value of 1. There is nothing in the hallway that would help us out. with completing this objective, so I have to move to another location to find more clue tokens. So, so now I've completed the investigation phase. I moved to the enemy phase. We killed all the enemies, so there's nothing to do there. Moved to the upkeep phase, which is really simple. We simply untap him. There's no exhausted cards, so we don't do that. We draw a card for turn, and we gain a resource, and we check our hand size. Okay, what did I draw? I drew Working a Hunch. It's an event card. It says Insight. It's fast. Fast cards are nice. Fast cards you can play without spending an action. You just have to pay the resource cost on them. Play only during your turn. Discover one clue at your... Oh, cool. So I can just basically just play an event card to just gain a clue. Awesome. I like this. I like where this is going. Fun fact. The fun thing I like about this game is that the deck building is there are some rules on what kinds of cards can be put into any deck. And each of your characters that you play on the back has like some deck building requirements, but you're not strictly speaking limited to one specific deck. You can deck build, you can make custom decks, and you can, like, if you get more expanded sets, you can take cards from expansions and you can put them into your deck, and you can just try out a bunch of different like scenarios and see how things play out. Different deck strategies and whatnot is another fun thing. I really like that because I play, like I said, I play a lot of Magic, and deck building is a big thing that I love to do in Magic the Gathering. So, it's one more thing I like about the card game version versus the board game version, where in the board game version, you're just playing with the pieces in the board game, and that's it. But yeah. So anyway, I have... so now we're going to go back, because that was the end of a turn. We go back to now the beginning of the next turn. We put, in the Mythos phase, another tracker here. We haven't hit the 3 yet, so we don't advance this. Then we reveal a card off the top. This triggers automatically. Okay, Grasping Hands. Revelation. Make an agility test of 3. For each point you fail, or for each point that you fail the test by, you take 1 damage. Okay. So I need to make an agility test. I have 2 agility. However, I do have this thing in play that I can activate at any time without paying an ability cost to spend 1 resource to get +1/+1. I think I'm going to spend 2 of these to give myself +2 in this. So now I'm at 4 agility versus the 3 that I need to succeed. So long as I get anything that's not a -2. Okay, so this is interesting. Okay, I've actually never gotten this one before. Alright, so I drew this little symbol from the deck list. Let me see what this does. Chaos deck. Chaos tokens, page 6. Okay. What happens with the chaos tokens? Alright, so it has these symbols. It has a little skull, a little man with a hood. Looks like some sort of spider, and then this little, like, broken tablet-looking thing. If these tokens are revealed for a skill test, resolve the effect for that symbol as indicated on the scenario reference for the current scenario. Okay. So, this is our scenario reference. Ah, and there it is. Okay. Oh, it's a -2. If there's a ghoul enemy at your location, you... Whoop! Whoop! That was scary. I just got a phone call with headphones on. Spooky. Alright. Let's see. Just text my dad with this. Alright. So, I am going to, for this turn, yeah, I have to make it. Got it threw me completely off. Alright, so I've got 4 power. And I am going to... I think Dad's actually coming by. Yeah, because he just got off work at 4 o'clock. And he works just down the road from me. Alright. So now what I have to do is I have to roll from the Chaos deck. Oh, wait, no, I already did that. God, I got thrown completely off by that phone call. Alright, so I get a -2 to my roll. And I had 4, which means I have 2, which means I failed this. Because I failed by 1, I take 1 damage. And that is the end of the Mythos phase. Now we move to my investigation phase. I need to get other stuff. I am going to move, I think for starters, oh, by the way, I gotta put this back in the Chaos deck, kind of think about it. They actually don't include any sort of Chaos deck in your, with the game. You just have to kind of find something. I'm going to play, what should I do for this turn? What have I got in my hand? Nothing that's really immediate. This is another fast card and event card. Play when an enemy attacks an investigator or location. You can cancel out an attack. Oh, I love it. So good, so good. I'm going to go ahead and move to the... I can't move to the parlor right now. It's blocked off. I'm going to move to the attic. That's my first action for turn. So when I move to the attic, I reveal it. Forced. After you enter the attic, you take 1 horror. Horror damage is basically your little sanity mind symbols. And I only have 5 of that, so that could be pretty bad. And it gets 2 clue tokens. 2 clue tokens. Alright. So, that's my first action for turn. Second action is I could go ahead and just spend 2 resources and just get a clue. I think I'm going to do that. I'm just going to pay... I'm going to get a resource as my second for turn. Should I do that? No, actually, it has a Shroud of 1. I take that back. Take that back. For my second action, I'm just going to go ahead and pay 2 resources and play this event card. Play during your turn, discover 1 clue at your location. Actually, this is a fast action, so I don't have to... this doesn't expend anything, so I just get a clue from my current location. So that doesn't cost an action. So I still have 2 left. I don't want to play these out. I'm going to go ahead and gain a resource back as my second action. And then for my third, I'm going to make an investigation check. Because I have 3 investigation versus the 1 shroud. I don't think I need to do anything with my hyper-awareness to fix that up. So, okay, ooh, I actually get a +1 to my attack. Alright, for my, my investigation. So I had a 4 versus a 1, so that succeeds. So I'm going to get that investigation clue token as well. Now that's all 3 of my actions per turn, so I will flip it over. Now I'm going to move to the enemy phase. There are no enemies, so nothing happens. I move to the upkeep, untap. I say untap because, you know, I play a lot of Magic. Untap, there's no enemies to reset. I gain a resource, draw a card. What do I draw? Evidence, it's an insight, it's a fast one. Play after you defeat an enemy. Discover 1 clue at your location. Ooh, I'm liking this. I need some enemies to kill. So, ooh, you know what the fun thing about that is? If I kill an enemy, I can pay 1 resource to get 2 clues off of that. I like it. I like it. Okay. I think that's how it goes. I think I can chain them together. If not, leave a comment down below. I'm going to put this on YouTube. Or leave a comment in chat. One of the 2. Alright, cool. So that's the end of that turn. We move back up to the Mythos phase. We start off, we put... Alright, so that's my 3rd Omen token on this agenda, so we're going to flip this over and read this. Your house continues to change before your very eyes. The walls have decayed and the ground in many rooms has turned to dirt. It's almost as if you've been transported somewhere else entirely, although every now and again you recognize elements of your former home. The lead investigator must decide one of 2 things. Each investigator discards 1 card at random from his or her hand, or the lead investigator takes 2 horror. I only have 5 sanity, and I've already taken 1 sanity damage, so I'm going to choose to discard a card at random. Oh, cool. Spider-Man, the original Spider-Man movies are coming to Hulu. Alright, I'm gonna go with number 4. What am I discarding? Ooh, I discard the dodge card. Alright, you know what? It's fine. It's fine. I'm sure I can deal with damage. Alright. So, alright, I am going to, so anyway, that's the Mythos phase. Actually, no, that was the beginning. We still have to resolve the final effect in the Mythos phase. Oh, okay. We get a Flesh Eater. It's a spawn, and it spawns in the attic. Oh, so it spawns where I'm at. Cool, so it attacks, so it's, oh joy. Alright, so it's a 4 power, 4 health, 1 evasion ghoul creature. Wait, no, it's not a ghoul, it's just a Flesh Eater. and it's a monstrous creature that feeds from the rotting carcasses that are in the attic. And it does 1 damage and 2... Ooh, that's not good. It deals 2 sanity damage when it attacks. But if I kill it, I get an experience point, which will be good if I want to continue into further campaigns. Alright, so that's on the table now. Uh-oh, that's not good. Alright. Well, I currently have 2 clues, so that's nice. Only problem is, now I have to get away from this thing before I can move to another room, and I don't want to give it an attack of opportunity, because that'll deal 2 damage to me. Fortunately, I've got a machete. So anyway, I move to my turn, the player's turn. I could go ahead and just spend a cache of resources, or I could just guts myself, or I could go ahead and do unexpected courage. There's no more... Unfortunately, there's no more clue tokens to be gained from this room, but I really just want to kill this thing outright. I'll get +1 to my damage if I attack alone. And I can't gain a resource or draw a card without provoking an attack of opportunity. So, what's my current power value? It has a power value of 4, and I have a power value of 4. I'm going to go ahead and spend both my current resources to give myself... Or actually, I'm going to move into... Wait, no, that wouldn't help me. Yeah. I'm going to go ahead and... Do I activate an ability? Engage with an enemy and spend an activated ability to do anything other than fight. Activate an ability on a card. Okay, so as an action, I can activate this and fight to give myself +1. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and activate a fight ability to attack the Flesh Eater. If the attacked enemy is the only enemy engaged with for this turn, I get +1 damage. So I'm currently attacking with a 5 versus 4. So what's my modifier? +1. Awesome. So I'm a 6. Cool. So because he was the only one I was attacking with a machete, I deal 2 damage to him. Cool. Cool, cool, cool. Alright. So that was my first action for turn. I can go ahead and do that again. I'm going to make another attack against him. So we're just going to do the same thing. We're going to activate the fight ability. And we're going to see if I can kill him this time. Okay, so I revealed this little man with a hood token. So this actually triggers something on the gathering card. It says -1. If you fail this, you take 1 horror. So you'll remember I had 5 versus 4. However, he only has 4 attack power. Therefore, I actually still succeed because I met his power value. So I'm going to deal 2 more damage to him, which will kill him off. I don't get a trigger for the find a clue thing. But, hey, the enemy's dead. So that was 2 actions. For my final action of the turn, I'm going to move to the cellar. And I'm going to flip that over. It says, forced. After you enter the cellar, take 1 damage. Alright, cool. So I'm going to take another physical damage to myself. And it has 2 clue tokens. However, that is the end of my turn. Or the end of my action, so I am exhausted for turn. Now we move to the enemy phase. Oh, look at that! I killed all the enemies. I like how this is going so far. And so we go to the upkeep phase, we flip them over. There's no enemies to reset. Draw a card. And gain a resource. I didn't spend any resources that round. Look at that. What I draw. Oh. Oh, cool. So I have both of my guts cards in here. So if I ever make I think it's will is what that's called. If I make a will save, I can get a lot of free stuff out of that. Cool, cool, cool. All right. So, pass through the whole turn. Move back up to the Mythos phase. Go ahead and put... Now, this one requires 7 to pop through, so it's going to take a while. I think I'm pretty fast. And then we reveal off the top. Okay, it's a crit chill. Revelation. Make a will test of 4. Ooh, hey, might be time to spend those will cards. If you fail, choose and discard 1 asset you control. If you cannot, take 2 damage instead. Okay, I have 2 assets on the field, so I have to make a will check of 4. I'm going to go ahead and spend... Can I give myself higher willpower? I don't know. Can I play these skill checks on an activated one, or do I have to only wait till I am in the middle? Skill checks. Handy dandy little rule book. Skill tests. Okay. Or skill cards. Page 18. Alright. Skill cards. Skill cards represent innate or learned abilities or character traits that improve in investigator's skill test. Skill cards are not played from a player's hand. In order to resolve their abilities, skill cards must be committed to a skill test. If a skill card is committed to a skill test, its ability may be used during the resolution of that skill test as specified on the card. See skill test timing on page 26. Okay. So for a full breakdown, determine the skill type of the test. Skill test of that type begins. In this case, it's a will test. We're going to just put that right there. The investigator performing the skill test may commit any number of cards with an appropriate skill icon from his or her hand to the test. So I have 2 that could be used. Each other investigator on the same location can do the same. You reveal a token from the chaos box. Apply the chaos token's symbol. Okay. If none of the symbols apply, it just has no effect. Determine the investigator's modified skill value. Determine the success or failure of the skill test and apply the results of said failure, and then it ends. Okay, cool. So I can play both of them if I want. I'm going into this with 3 willpower versus a 4 that I need. I think I should go ahead and just play both of these outright. Oh, wait, no, I can only commit 1 per skill test. Okay. So I'm going to commit 1 to this, so I'm matching the value. So what this means is if I draw a negative out of the chaos box, it's a failure. If I draw anything that's not a negative, I succeed. Uh-oh. So what does this do? Oh, no. -2 if there's a ghoul enemy at location, take 1 damage. Alright, cool. So, I had a 2, so I failed. I failed that check. Not good. If you fail, choose and discard 1 asset you control. If you cannot, take 2 damage. Oh, ooh, this is not good. This is not good at all. I'm in a bit of a bind here, because this means I can either take 2 damage, or I can get rid of 1 of these 2 cards. Or I can take... Yeah. So I currently have 2 damage on me, with no effective way of healing myself. However, I still feel like these are very important. So I'm just going to choose to take 2 damage. So I'm going to go up to 4 damage on my character, rather than discard 1 of these 2. Okay. Alright, so that resolves the Mythos phase. Now we move to my actions phase. So the seller has a shroud value of 4, and I have exactly 4 investigation power. Do I have anything that could modify investigation? I have this. I could commit this to get myself max 1 committed per skill test. Oh, also, fun fact: if I had succeeded on that guts check, I would have drawn a card. Max 1 committed per skill test. Actually, I'm not sure these give +1. Max 1 committed per skill test. Sometimes to myself is, what is the point of this? I don't know, whatever. Whatever, I'll figure it out later. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to spend 2 resources. Because I only need 1. I only need 1 singular investigator or clue token. So I'm going to go ahead and with a 6, I'm going to roll investigation against the seller. Oh, so I got a -2. Now remember I had 6, and this has 4, which means I am 4 for 4, which means I succeeded. So I get the clue token. That was my first action. Second action, I'm going to go to the hallway. And this says, may as a group spend the requisite number when the round ends. So I have to wait until the end of the round, so I should probably go ahead and just spend the rest of my turn gaining back a resource. I don't have any way of healing myself yet. Yeah, okay. Alright. So I'm going to gain 1 resource back, and that's going to be the end of my actions for turn. Move to the enemy phase. There are no enemies, so then we move to the upkeep phase. Untap. Go ahead and draw a card per turn and gain a resource. So I'm back up to 3. And then at the end of the round, I'm going to go ahead and spend all 3 of these to advance this act. Alright. Using the barrel from the attic, you carry ice and snow from the cellar and hurl it at the barrier. The barrier sparks and shudders as it consumes the ice, then hisses and fades out of existence. The barrier blocking the passage into the parlor has vanished. Reveal the parlor. Okay, so we go ahead and reveal the parlor. Put aside Lita Chandler put the set aside Lita Chandler and play it in the parlor. And then spawn the set aside Ghoul Priest into the hallway. Ghoul Priest comes to the hallway. Uh-oh, I'm in the hallway. Uh-oh. Using the barrel from... Alright, cool. So that's that. Let me go ahead and read off what just got revealed. Okay. Parlor. The entrance to the parlor is blocked here, so we reveal the parlor. Oh, no, now we gotta read through this. What have you done? A woman with a torch stands in the parlor. That's Rita. Or Lita. Lita, not Rita. A glimmer of hatred shines in her eyes. What have you done to my barrier? She screams furiously. Before you can answer, a ghastly wail sounds behind you, and a creature wearing robes and a deer skull mask tears through the wall, advancing towards you. Our objective: if the ghost priest is defeated, you win, or you advance this. Act. So, we have revealed the ghoul priest. So, I now have to move to the mythos phase. I'm going to put turn tracker onto the that, and then we have to reveal something off the top of the mythos deck. Swarm of rats. It's going to spawn in here. So now I'm fighting a swarm of rats and the ghoul priest. Uh-oh. Maybe I shouldn't have stopped that damage. Alright, cool. So, fun fact, the ghoul priest has a couple of really annoying abilities. For starters, he has prey, which means, well, prey just means he goes after the person with the highest attack power, which is me because I'm the only one playing. He has hunter, which means if I try and move to a different room, he's going to chase me at the beginning of the enemy phase. Then then he has retaliate, which means if I attack at him and I miss or I fail my attack step, he gets an attack of opportunity on me. He deals 2 attack damage and 2 mental damage. Hey, I only have 4 health or 4 sanity left and 5 health left, so that can get pretty bad. And then of course the swarm of rats is the same thing we killed earlier. All right, let's see. That is that whole turn. So now it's up to my turn now. All right, so I have 2 enemies that are currently engaged with me. I have to evade. I kind of would like to evade and get to another room. What's this manual dexterity? Oh, that's on an evasion. Maximum committed per skill test. Maximum committed per skill test. Okay. Pass play after you defeat an enemy skill will include your room. Okay. It'd be really nice to have that dodge ability on me right now. Okay, let me check something for evasion. I haven't actually done this before. Evade action, page 11. Alright. Evade. Evade action. Evades an action an investigator may take during his or her turn in the investigation phase. To evade an enemy engaged with an investigator, that investigator makes an agility test against the enemy's evade value. If the test is successful, the investigator successfully evades the enemy. If the test fails, the investigator does not evade the enemy and remains engaged with him or her. Is it possible to be engaged with multiple enemies? enemy cards. I'm checking to see what's currently engaged with me and what isn't. Enemy cards. Enemies represent villains, cultists, ne'er-do-wells, terrible monsters, and unfathomable entities. When an enemy card is drawn by an investigator, the investigator must spawn it following any spawn directions the card bears. If the encountered enemy has no spawn direction, the enemy spawns engaged with the investigator and encounters the card, and countering the card, and is placed in the investigator's threat area. Okay, so they're both engaged with me. So what this basically means is if I want to move away, I'm going to have to make 2 evade actions against this guy. And I'm going to have to make 2 evasion actions to get away from him, and then they're just going to follow me for the next turn. What I really want to do, that I probably should do, as much as I really want to run away, I should probably just kill the rat to begin with, to just get it off my... Because I know I can kill the rat. I'm almost guaranteed to kill the rat. So go ahead and activate a fight ability on the machete to fight the rat, to basically guarantee an attack, a kill. And then I should probably try and evade the... I'm trying to see how I could, if I ran into the parlor, could I pick up and add her to my party? While you control Rita Chandler, she gains each investigator at your location gets +1 attack. When an investigator at your location successfully attacks a monster enemy, that investigator deals +1 damage. The parlay has, you can do the resign ability. This is too much for me. You run out of the front door fleeing in panic. While Rita Chandler is not controlled by a player, she gains, you can parlay for a 4 investigation. If you succeed, take control. Okay, so I have to make an investigation check of 4. If she's not controlled, so while I'm in the parlor, I can parlay to try and get her on my side. I think that's probably the smartest move. So starting off, we need to fight. I'm going to go ahead and spend an action to fight, or activate the ability on the machete to fight the swarm of rats. Okay, so I got +1 to my attack because of the machete, which put me at a 5. But I got a -2 off of this. It says -2 if there's a ghoul enemy. Oh, no. But I took 1 damage from the ghoul. Okay. That's not a good start. Alright, cool. So I'm down to 4 life. Eek. Okay, so... However, that kills the rat. Basically just straight up smacks it to death. So that was my first action for turn. I'm still engaged with the ghoul priest. I really should. I'm at 4 damage. So I'm at 4 sanity and 4 health. And I don't know if I'm going to get the chance to fight back. Skill cards. Skill cards. I want to check and see what this Unexpected Courage card does. Because it doesn't have... Max 1 committed per skill test. What does Unexpected Courage actually do? Investigator performs skill test may commit any number of cards from the appropriate skill icon preserve her hand. Each other investigator at the same location as the investigator performs. Oh my god. The appropriate skill icon is either one that matches the skill or a wild icon. The investigator performing this test gets +1 as her skill value during this test for each appropriate skill icon that is committed. Oh! Oh, so it's the number of these values. Oh, that's cool. Ooh. Ooh, okay. I could fight this thing with a. I could go ahead, activate the machete, fight it with a +1, and then play this on the attack to get myself a +2 additional to it, which means I would be swinging for 7 against a 4 and dealing an extra damage because I'm 1v1. Ooh, that's what we're doing. All right, I'm gonna activate the machete's ability this is my second action for turn, and then so I get +1 to my attack. Then I'm going to spend the unexpected courage to give myself an additional +2. So I'm up 7 versus 4. Don't be an automatic failure. Don't be an automatic failure. Come on, come on. Oh, it's a plus. Ha! I did 8. So I'm 8 over 4, so that's going to deal 2 damage to this Ghoul Priest. Nice. Nice. I still get 1 action per turn, or I still get 1 more action for the turn. I don't want to give him an attack of opportunity. I really kind of want to spend this resource thing, but the truth be told, it wouldn't help me any at all. I'm just going to go ahead and spend my third action to do another attack. I'm gonna activate the fight ability on the machete. I'm pretty sure. All right, so that's +1. Yep, so that's a win. Again, so I deal 2 more damage to him. Awesome. I'm just gonna pop that on. Ooh, I'm liking it. I'm liking it. I'm liking it. All right, cool. So that's my 3 actions per turn. Now we move to the enemy phase. Enemy's Hunter keyword, which he has, but he's already walked with me. Each player, each engaged enemy attacks if able. So when an enemy attacks, they don't make any kind of check at all. They just deal their damage. So he's going to deal 2 sanity damage and 2 physical damage to me. So basically, I'm going up to 7, or I'm going up to 3 sanity damage and 7. So I'm down to 2 health, and I only have 2 sanity left. So I'm in pretty bad spots as far as that goes. But, because of this machete, I think we good. I think we good. It all depends on how this next kind of phase plays through. So I'm going to go ahead, and then we go to the upkeep step, untap, draw a card for turn. Oh, I got Roland's 38 special. Okay, Roland Banks, deck only, has 4 ammo. Spend 1 ammo, fight. Get +1 attack for this attack. If there are 1 more clues on your location, you get +3 to attack instead. Ha, that's pretty cool. Unfortunately, there's none of that. This attack deals +1 damage if it just deals +1 damage, period. Oh. My dad keeps calling me. Lord, it's scaring the poop out of me. I love how when you're not doing anything at all, you just kind of go through your day, and then the moment you try and like sit down and focus on something, that's when everybody starts trying to call you, trying to get your attention away from stuff. Okay, I am going to, so wait, hold up. Now I have to do the Mythos phase check, right? Did I gain a resource? I drew a card. Now I gain a resource. Now we move to the Mythos phase. For the Doom Tracker, let's be honest, that probably isn't going to matter. And we spawn a Ghoul minion. Oh, that could prove to be a problem. So I have to fight that and kill the... Actually, no. Because I advance this out if I kill the Ghoul Priest. Cool. Alright. I'm going to go ahead for my turn, and we're gonna attack the Ghoul Priest again for first action. I don't think fighting the Ghoul minion is worth it at this point. I'm just gonna go ahead and activate this with a 5. What am I getting? A -1. Okay. So it's 4 versus 4. So I deal 2 more damage. That kills it. Awesome. And that resolves... Yep, that's my dad at the door. Whoop. That resolves the action. Hold up. Be right back. Yeah, what's up? go ahead. You wait for it. I was doing something. Okay. You have what? A jigsaw. Wash your hands. Avoid touching people. Maybe wear gloves if possible. Yeah. It said they're estimated about 50 to 75% of the population will encounter COVID in some form next year. Just how quickly it spread and how long it sticks around. Alright, see you around. Alrighty. Whoop! I'm back. Okay. Sorry about that. That was my dad. He needed a saw, or a couple saws, because he's working on his chicken coop. Alrighty. That might be the most southern thing I've said all day long. Alright, so we killed the Ghoul Priest, which automatically triggers the objective. The Ghoul Priest is defeated, you advance this card. When the rogue creature falls, a fiendish swarm burrows back into the ground, and the chaos of the house quiets, but the stranger in your parlor doesn't seem relieved. You broke my seal that was set to trap the ghouls within, she raises her torch. Now we must take more direct measures and burn this hell pit to the ground. The lead investigator, that's me, must decide one of these two options. It was never much of a home, you burn it all to the ground. That's the first possible resolution. Or the second one says, this hell pit is my home. No way are we burning this to the ground, which is resolution number 2. Now, a bit of meta-narrative, I already know what happens on both of these resolutions. I'm going to choose to do resolution number 1. We're going to burn my house to the ground. By the way, I put that to the side, because I get 2 victory points from killing that thing. Yeah. So I'm going to burn the house to the ground. Now, since I'm choosing that resolution, technically speaking, this what do you call it, part 1 of this campaign is over. So I'm going to go ahead and reference the campaign guide. Resolution number 1. You nod and allow the red-haired woman to set the walls and floor of your house ablaze. The fire spreads quickly and you run out the front door to avoid being caught in the inferno. From the sidewalk you watch as everything you own is consumed by fire. Come with me, the woman says. You must be told of the threat that lurks below. Alone we are surely doomed, but together we can stop it. In your campaign log, which is on the back of this. In your campaign log, record that your house has burned to the ground. The lead investigator earns the Lita Chamber card and may include it in his or her deck. This card does not count towards the investigator's deck size, so I can basically just auto-include her into the deck if I want. The lead investigator suffers 1 mental trauma from watching his or her home burn to smothered ruins. Okay, cool. So I'm up to 4 trauma of 5. That's a bit of an issue. Each investigator earns experience equal to the victory X value of each card in the victory display. Remember to add eligible locations to the victory display. Each investigator earns 2 bonus experience as he or she gains insight into the hidden world of the mythos. Cool. So I killed Ghoul Priest, which means I got 1 victory token. Each investigator earns experience equal to the victory X value of each card in the victory display. Yeah. So that's in the victory display. So I got 2, and then 2 bonus. So So I have a grand spanking total of four experience in the victory display. Cool. So that's the first resolution. Alrighty. Let's see. There's some enhanced game rules. Experience and spending experience. As investigator delves deeper into the mythos, he or she gains insight into the hidden truths of the world. The ancient ones, monsters that dwell in the shadows, and secrets of humanity was never meant to know. This insight manifests in the form of experience. During the resolution of a scenario, investigators may earn one or more experience. Each investigator earns experience separately, and experience may not be transferred from one investigator to another. Experience can often be attained by placing encounter cards worth victory points in the victory display or through story decisions. Refer to page 5 of the rules or reference for the full rules on earning experience points. Experience may be spent to earn new abilities or spells, or to acquire new items or weapons in the form of additional cards. Adding a new card to a deck costs experience equal to that card's level, denoted by one or more white pips near the top left corner of the card. So that'd be like right under this. This is a 0-cost card, but we can put anything with. So we can basically spend experience to put anything with a white pip in there. Adding a new card to your deck always costs 1 experience, and at least 1 experience. And it requires that you maintain your deck size. So I can't. So with the exception of cards like Lita, which I can just add in for nothing, if I swap any other cards out or get new cards, I have to swap them out so that my deck size doesn't change. Some cards represent a higher level version of a card with the same title. These cards have the same title as their other versions, but may have additional effects, additional skill icons, or different costs. If a player has a lower level version of a card and wishes to purchase the higher level, he or she may upgrade that card by spending experience equal to the difference in level between the two. So spend 1 to go from a level 1 to a level 2, level 0 to a level 1, etc., etc. New version is added to the deck, and the older version is removed. Refer to page 5 of the rules of reference for that. What's the next thing? Trauma, death, and insanity. Trauma represents permanent damage that has been done to an investigator's health and or psyche. If an investigator is defeated during a scenario, that investigator still advances to the next scenario with the rest of the party unless the scenario resolution states the investigator is killed or driven insane. However, an investigator who is defeated through damage or horror may suffer permanent trauma, which stays with that investigator for the remainder of the campaign. Refer to page 5. Note, if you are worried about taking trauma, resigning from a scenario is almost always better than defeat. Players are now ready to begin the next scenario of the campaign. Okay. Check campaign log. If Wida was forced to find other ways to help her cause, you read intro 1, otherwise skip to intro 2. I think we do intro 2. Alright, but I think for right now, that's where I'm going to go ahead and end it for this stream. I'm going to probably stream this tomorrow. I just have to kind of... So, I'm going to make note that we burned the house to the ground. Lita Chandler is added to the deck. I don't know if this matters, but I currently have 7 damage on me and 4 psychic damage. I have 4... I don't think this matters either, but I have 4 resources in the pool. And I have a grand spanking total of 4 experience that I could spend to upgrade my deck if I should choose. I'm going to go ahead and make a quick note of that. But, thank you so much for watching. In the next time I stream this, I'll be doing Campaign 2 of The Gathering, or Part 2 of the Gathering campaign. Hope to see you guys then. Thanks for watching. See you back later. Bye.